In this lesson, we're going to look at computing the LCM of two positive integers. Now, to calculate the LCM, which is the lowest common multiple of a set of numbers, what you will have to do is first remember what a multiple is and try and see if you could remember how to list the multiples of a set. List the set of multiples of a number. So let's look at method number one. The first thing is we have to establish a limit. Now the limit is going to be the value which results from the product of the numbers. So let's say, for example, with 4 and 6 the limit will be 24. The reason we choose 24 as a limit, it's because we are sure that 24 is in the list of multiples for 4 and it is also in the list of multiples for 6. So we know that therefore 24 is going to be common for both of them. We don't know, however, if 24 is going to be the lowest common, but we know that it is common. So the reason we set it at the limit is because the whole objective is to find the lowest common multiple. If it is that we have a multiple that is in common, then we don't have to go about going beyond that, because what we're trying to establish is the lowest common. Anyway, so as long as we have the limit, which is 24, we now go to list the multiples of the larger number up to that limit. Now the reason we choose the larger number to list, it's because it will step faster towards the limit. The reason we want it to step faster towards the limit, it's because the next number, which is the smaller one, will take a very slow pace to reach the limit. In the case for 6, it reaches 6, 12, 18, 24. In the case of 4, it goes 6, 8, 12, 16, 20, and then 24. Notice that this is 6 values long and this is 4 values long. The reason we also would take this larger one to work the multiples first, it's because at the first point in time that we actually find something in common to both the 4 and 6, we can stop right there instead of going any further. So the common value for both of them is the answer of 12. So before I go on to explain the second method, what I am going to do first is I explain what GCD is. GCD is simply the greatest common divisor. And in the example previously where we had 4 and 6, notice that 4 and 6 has a greatest common divisor of 2. What it means is that 2 is the highest number that can divide both 4 and 6 without leaving a remainder. Notice common. So I can't say 4 could divide 4 without leaving a remainder, because when I take 6 and divide by 4, I will get a remainder of 2. So therefore that cannot work. So 4 cannot be my greatest common divisor. Now that you know what the greatest common divisor is, to work with this method, all you simply have to do is take the product of the two numbers that you are considering. For example, 4 by 6 is equal to 24. That's the product. We already know that. And then we take the GCD, as previously we noticed that the GCD is equal to 2, and then we simply divide. So we say in 24 divided by 2 will be equal to 12. And notice we get the exact same answer. Now you can only use this for two numbers, as I'm explaining right now. You can't use it for 3. So don't try and use it for 3, only try and use it for 2. So the last method to use is called prime factorization. Let's consider the values that we had previously, which is 4 and 6. Prime factorization is just simply taking out the prime factors of a number, and we will end up building our answer. So let's say, for instance, we are looking for the answer of the LCM for 4 and 6. We first take the number 4 and break it up into prime factors. The prime numbers that will give us 4 are 2 multiplying by the number 2. Now remember, 4 has factors 1, 2, and 4. But the only one that's a prime number is the 2. So we break up that 4 into 2 multiplied by 2. The next number that we have is 6. Now 6 has the factors of 1, 2, 3, and 6. We are only interested in the prime numbers that make up this 6. And we know that the prime numbers that multiply to give us 6 is 2 by 3. Now what we have to do is build our answer. Our answer must contain all the prime factors of 4 and all of the prime factors needed for 6. So first off, we list all the prime factors needed for 4, which are 2 and 2. So we say 2 multiplied by 2. Now when we reach the 6, we have to make sure that in our answer has at least 1 2 and 1 3. We already have 2 2's in our answer, so we don't have to add any other 2. Notice there is a 2 here already. So we simply take that 2 and we multiply it now by a final 3. If we were to take our answer and start combining them, we would realize that we can combine these numbers so that we will be able to get back our main numbers from the previous. And that's the 4 and the 6. Let's look at it. 2 multiplied by 2 and I'll be able to get back my 4. And then I have 2 multiplied by 3 and I'll be able to get back my 6. Now if I simply take each of them and multiply them, 2 by 2 multiplied by 3 will be equal to 12. And I can see right away that 12 will be my LCM. So when you consider all these methods, the best one to use is the prime factorization method currently, because when you practice this one, it makes it easier for you to do multiple values.